think we're good. Microphone check. Okay. Oh, shit. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Alright, welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and this is the after show here on Map for The Walking Dead, Episode 3. If you're new here, how this works, this is the first impression review for about 15 minutes, give or take, between 15 to 20, and then after that, we're going to stay in this live stream, and we're going to spill over into the fan feedback, answering your questions from the live stream. So, let's dive straight in here, and then I'll give the announcement when we're going to go into the comments. And then if you guys don't want to stick around for that, you can bounce, but those who want to stick around, stay around. All right. And I also take this portion out and upload it tomorrow. That way those who catch it later on just want to watch this. You don't have to fiddle with the live stream. Just catch the separate one. So let's dive right into the opener for this episode. The opener I thought was a bit flat. This opener kind of, and listen, I like this episode. I did enjoy it. A couple negatives though. The opener didn't have a lot of kick for me. And again, I still enjoyed it, but it felt like, okay, let's open this up, but let's hurry up with it, you know? I don't know. It felt like the opener needed more room to breathe, you know? And as well as the opener, there's also them damn overhyping the episodes. And again, I really enjoyed this, but the thing that rings in my head is when Scott Gimple is like, you know, the first 4 episodes, it's going to melt your minds. And I like it, but hadn't I not heard that, hearing that, you get ready for something that is just game-changing insane. And there was something that Eric said, the actor playing Eric, sorry. He said something that really made it, really helped me understand why Gimple would say such a thing. Not directly related to the, not just about the episode, so to speak. They were filming multiple different episodes at the same time. And they do that for convenience when they got to film the bottle episodes. Let's say one part of the crew is filming the Alexandrian storyline, the other part of the crew is filming the Hilltop, and they'll be in episode 5 and then episode 6. But for this, it made it seem like they had 3 different shoots at times going on. And if you take that into consideration, then you start going, you know what? Yeah, you know, I get it now, because there's a lot of work, a lot of hustle. They gotta get everyone in the right positions, and you know, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we never even see, hear of, or whatever until you watch the behind the scenes stuff. But then it starts clicking. Oh, they were probably so incredibly busy, combined with the story that they were hyping it up. You start to understand why it has such a big hype for these episodes in particular. That being said, I do like this episode. I think I'm kind of off though with the mass. Something's going on in The Walking Dead, because episode 2 had such a steep drop in ratings. I didn't think The Walking Dead would drop past 10 million this season for any episode, and it went down to like 8 million. And yes, I know people, it'll rise when you count all the other stuff, but again, I liked it, and I have a feeling fans are going to be like, oh, I didn't like this episode. Speaking or starting with Morales, and I'm good with this. Morales comes back, boom, he's dead and gone, and now it's like, okay, we're done. No more crazy, ridiculous theories about Morales. And I actually did start to really enjoy, I mean, really, I skipped something about the opener, but I'm going to go back in a second, but I actually started really enjoying that back and forth between Morales and Rick, because it started opening up the idea of, yeah, what does that mean, Rick? Like, just because we knew each other for a few days in the very beginning, like, does this mean we're bros? Are we cool? Like, I don't know. There was something there with the dialogue, and you can argue that you'd want it to continue on for a little bit longer. I saw a couple comments like that just about that one particular scene, but on one hand, I do agree. Yeah, you know, it could have went on a little longer. It could have had something else to it. But at the same strength, I like it for what it is. I think, for me, I dare say, it's perfect for what it needed to be. It was a flashback to the past, connecting Rick to his past. It was also a character that was forgotten about in the fan base. Well, Not, you know what I mean? He wasn't in the show for a while, and the fan base wanted to know what's going on with him, so they brought him back. And then the that little bitty discussion, what you can dissect from that between Rick and Morales, I liked it for what it is. So I'm fine with Rick and Morales. Back it up real quick though. How the hell would anybody know who the Widow is? Or Rick? I mean, if you hear his name, okay, it's Rick. And I like how Morales was like, oh, okay, you're the Rick from Alexandria. But how would they know who Maggie is? Because you saw Rick was like, oh, Glenn's dead, Negan's the one who killed him, yada, yada, yada. She's the widow, and this, that, and the third. How are they supposed to know? If they're running and gunning and just... apparently other people didn't get the message because they're shooting at Rick, trying to kill him, it looks like, you know? But I just thought that line was a little bit off. We're not supposed to kill Rick, the widow, or the king, which someone said in another live stream that was the title to an episode coming up. I guess that episode's definitely confirmation for that title, I would imagine. Anyway, the opener about it being flat, there was something else that I didn't particularly like, where they were doing the Ezekiel was talking, and then they showed what happened. And I thought it was kind of an editing fail to have Ezekiel say, oh, they outnumber us, but we'll do the strategizing, or whatever he says. And immediately when he says that, you know, it's a trap. It's obviously a trap. Before, it could have been like, oh, what is this? This is interesting. Does Carol have to flank around and save him with another group of kingdom? And no, as soon as Ezekiel says that. So I know that's a little nitpick, but I really feel like when they edit that, they should have put what Ezekiel said after the reveal that it was a trap. So next up on my list, the Jesus versus Morgan. I like this. I think they started fighting, then they cut away, and then they showed them fighting again. There was a moment there that was just maybe 3 seconds, 4 seconds of their fight that looked really cool. It seemed fast and it was on point. I really enjoyed it. And I really love the idea of Morgan being broken. And I really like his quote where he was like, I'm not right. I know I'm not right. Like something in him is broken, but he's not wrong. This is a dangerous thing to bring these prisoners back to the hilltop. I like the idea of a broken Morgan here. There's something missing though with how it unfolded, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know if maybe I wanted something else to trigger him, so to speak, but I like it. I wanted something else thrown in the mix with Morgan, but I do like that. Gregory showing up. I've seen a couple comments scrolling up where everyone's like, oh, I love Gregory. I love him too. I think the actor's doing a fan-friggin-tastic job. He's killing it as Gregory. Slimy sleazeball son of a bitch. And I love how he tries to throw Cal under the bus, and then Cal peeks his head out. He's like, yo, shut up, you dick. What are you talking about? That whole moment there with Gregory was great. And I think they did a fantastic job bringing Gregory back into the hilltop, because Maggie has no reason to bring him back in. And when Gregory was saying, oh, where's your humanity and all this shit, I was thinking Glenn, that's something where Glenn would let him in. And I think they really went above and beyond, really branding us with the memory of Glenn with his ordeal with Nicholas, and how he will save and forgive and let live and all that shit, and give a second chance, give a third chance, especially when you shouldn't. Like with Nicholas, just kill that prick and keep it moving. So that moment was great. And then the Polaroids, I'm going to mention this briefly every time they do it. I like it, and I still want it to go a certain direction and play into the role at the end with Negan. I really want them to rub it in Negan's face. Eric, this part I was screaming no, 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 because with Eric's body gone, he could be the new Morales, okay? Was that Eric? Oh, we don't know. In my book, yes, he's dead. He's dead, he's gone. That was him walking away. Although it wasn't really clear visually, maybe on your TVs, but mine, I was like, ooh, is that Eric? Wasn't that Eric? I know he's dead. He's definitely dead. He's in the herd, but was that him? And then the Talking Dead aired immediately after, and I only heard a few minutes, but that was one thing they mentioned, that yes, they put Eric in zombie makeup, and he's officially dead walking away. So don't anyone try to start no bullshit theories about Eric being out there, someone saved him and healed him and patched him up, and he's gonna come back with an iron lung and shit like this. Don't. And then Daryl just killing the enemies. I love this. You have this one guy who, I believe that's the same guy who got scalded in the previous episode. He kind of really didn't feel like he had a lot of heart, you know, or a lot of, I don't know, it just felt like one of those people who could actually assimilate back into the other community. Not back into, but he could become a survivor with people at the hilltop, with people at Alexandria. He had that vibe to him. Why he shot at Rick and Daryl, I don't know. I got to replay that. For me, I was like, man, they really should have had him step on a twig or give his position away, and then it kind of felt like it was absolutely unnecessary. But I don't know. So Daryl blasting him at the end, and I think this is great because you had Morales get shot by Daryl, and I was like, yes, Morales, he's a dick for what he's doing, you know? And Rick is kind of giving him that look like, oh, that's Morales, and Daryl's like, yeah, so what? You know, he chose his side. You know, you made your bed, sleep in it. And then Daryl shoots that other dude who gave up later on. And, you know, there's one part of me that's like, yeah, Daryl, you know, get it done. And then you can see the conflict in Rick where they played it smart, I feel, with the writing. Rick isn't bucking back yet, or you could see it in his face, in his gut. There's something he's not comfortable with. He feels that this isn't right. Even though he wants to get the job done, and he gets the job done, and he does what he's got to do, in his gut, he's like, this isn't right. And it's starting to wear away at him. It's starting to crack him up a bit. And I love that. And I can't wait to see where that goes. Because if you mix that with the Dwight situation and how Dwight's helping out, you could really build upon something here. The creative playground I talk about. A lot of good potential for the creative playground. And lastly, the Browning, that was a nice touch. That was a nice touch. I'll be honest. I was not thinking about them using or moving the big guns to take out Ezekiel's group. I thought they were just going to, you know, set up shop and take out Ezekiel's group, and it is what it is. And the way they did it, though, I like that. They were like, oh, where's the guns? Oh, it's at Gavin's outpost. And next thing you know, you get this vibe like, oh, shit. They're going to set that up and use it to kill Ezekiel's group, and that's how they ended it. Great, great. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying how they're constantly doing gunshot, commercial break, gunshot, cliffhanger. This is one thing that it's almost becoming a meme in itself. You could take all the different times they do a gunshot and they cut to the episode, or the gunshot and they cut to a commercial. Daryl shot in the arm. You know, that's cliffhanger episode. Rosita shot at Negan with the bat. Boom, commercial. Rick counting down. 8, 7, commercial. How many other times do they do that? It's starting to break the momentum, and it sucks. I mean, there's some times where it works. When Rick did it, blah, blah, you know, I screwed that up, but insert sound effect there of a gun. When Rick did it, I was kind of like, all right, and then there was a little part of me that was like, I kind of want to see Negan dodge that. It takes you out of it when you cut it, even when you watch it as a whole later on in the Blu-ray, because for whatever reason, maybe it looks too funky when it is a shortcut, but go back and rewatch it when it's on Amazon or when it's in the Blu-ray. There's still like a 3-second cut there, so Rick will be like blaka blaka blaka, and then there's this 1, 2, 3 of black, and then it comes back on and Negan's ducking out of the way. This is something that I can't stand live watching it and replaying it because it doesn't make it any smoother. I don't know why they do that, and they're constantly doing that with gunfights. With Rosita, I get it. You know, you don't have a realistic way with their budget to do the bullet in the bat. It's just not going to work. First off, I don't even think that would work. I think it's better in a comic where it kind of ricochets off the side of the bat. I don't think a bullet would stick in the bat like that. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it would blow through the bat. I don't know. Anyway, so that's pretty much it with how I feel about this episode. I do like it. I do like the beginning. I see a lot of negative comments, to be honest, that I'm just not understanding. I get it. It is, you know what? No, I flat out don't understand it. I see a lot of comments that are like, man, you know, are you going to drag this war out? And it's like, this is episode 2, and I'm talking about last week. comments that how long is this war gonna go? Did you guys want it to end in one episode? I can't process that. This is the war season, the battle season. It doesn't even have to be all season, but a good chunk of the season. You get one episode and people are sick of the war. I can't fathom it. It doesn't compute for me, you know? So I really like what we've got. I do think there could have been a little bit more spices added in, or a little bit more kick here and there. However, they are building up to other stuff. So if they add that little bit of kick later on, and this is the build up, I'm absolutely fine with that. So I don't think every single episode is going to hit its mark, 100%. Oh my God, this is, blow your mind fantastic. Especially this content with the war going on and spilling over into each episode. But I am enjoying what's playing out. I will say it's important how they connect it later on with episode 1 and how they did the time skips. That's one thing that's lingering on. And I do like how they kind of faded out of that. It didn't, episode 1, really weird with the time skips. Episode 2, they did it with the close-ups of the beginning of what's going on and then at the end of what's going on. They did kind of integrate something where it wasn't just straight beginning end of the story. And then episode 3, we have it started off and it was probably the least here. We have a little bit of King Ezekiel, then we flash over to them as they're walking, you know what I mean, jumping around a little tiny bit with time. So I think in the next episode we might even get even less, and then later on they'll connect the time skipping stuff. And that's important, because if they don't do it adequate enough, episode 1 will fall apart, in my opinion, as far as the time jumps and stuff. Last thing I did forget to mention, Tom Payne did fantastic as Jesus. I know he's going to piss a lot of fans off. Every time a character is like, we don't want to kill, keep them alive, they surrendered, or life is precious, or Father Gabriel being a priest and not being a badass immediately, fans hate them for that. I get it, it's going to happen all the time. I do partially disagree with Jesus here. I agree with him that, guys, these are people who, not all of them had a choice, even if they're fighting. I mean, come on, that happens in real life. There was a story, oh my God, I briefly heard this story of some guy who was, I think he was in like North Korea or South Korea. He got picked up and his country got occupied, and they forced him to fight in this war. He got captured again. They forced him to fight for a completely different country to fight a completely different other country. And then this happened like 3 times. He became a prisoner of war, and they kept forcing him to fight. Sure, with Negan and the Saviors, it probably isn't fight or will execute you, but it's similar to that. It's close to that in certain circumstances. If you want to get it in, you got to get it in. So, I don't know. There's definitely some wiggle room there. So with Jesus, I agree with his mentality of, we're going to have to work with these people. We can't just murder, 200, 300 people just to win this war. We can have some survivors. And then on the flip side, it's not worth it, in my opinion. It's too dangerous to risk the people at the hilltop. It's just too dangerous to feed them, to take care of them, to guard them. It's just too much of a risk. I think to find a happy medium, in my opinion, or a compromise, anyone who just won't work out, Jared, shoot him in the head immediately. Show the others, you either help us or we'll kill you. And then everyone who's actually, because then you can have like a chain gang and workers and stuff. But anyway, that's it with the first impression review. That's all my thoughts and opinions.